We don't have a Tik-Tok. They produced a Tik-Tok. We don't have a Tik-Tok. They produced a Tik-Tok.
From the government's perspective, they can counter-argue and say, we should do whatever we can to bring investment in, and if it involves giving production-linked incentives. Take, for example, how the United States at this moment has decided they want to be a semiconductor manufacturing hub. And they're realigning the industrial policy to ensure that companies move out of Taiwan, the dependence on China comes down, and semiconductor manufacturing comes to the United States.
Right.
They're pursuing their national interest and pushing the economic agenda.
I am not saying we shouldn't pursue our national interest. I'm saying let's figure out what makes most sense for our national interest. Spending 10 billion in subsidies for a semiconductor plant, which is going to, employ 50, 100, maybe 1,000 workers at best. Is that a sensible use? Especially when the companies that are at this point lining up to get those subsidies have no record in semiconductor manufacturing. Instead, if you spend 10 billion on creating...
But those are big industrial conglomerates who have the ability to create the wherewithal.
It's hope and a prayer that they do it. Instead, if you spend 10 billion, we talked about resource use. If you spend that 10 billion on creating 10 top-class universities, 100, with 10 billion you can create 100 top-class universities, give that money to some of our existing universities that need upgradation. Create fantastic scientific labs. You're going to see a flourishing in technological capabilities which far outweighs.
But that's many years out into the future.
How long do you think it's going to take for a semiconductor plant to come up?
A couple of years, Vedanta could be up.
Come to the frontier? No, it's going to produce run-of-the-mill semiconductors.
But that's a chicken and egg situation in China as well.
Now you're saying, when do we get to the frontier?
Sure, you start somewhere, and as you manufacture previous generation semiconductors, you can move up the value chain and produce more cutting edge.
China has been 10 years at it, nowhere near the frontier. So,
the counter argument to that is that that's because they're a closed society which is not open to innovation. And if you see what's happened in the Indian startup sector, because it's a democracy, the chances of cutting edge innovation in India are higher than China, and China is not catching up because it's essentially a state-run society.
China had a very vibrant private sector which was reaching the frontiers, certainly on services. We don't have a Tik-Tok. They produced a Tik-Tok. We don't have a Tik-Tok. They produced a Tik-Tok. We don't have a Tik-Tok. They produced a Tik-Tok.